guys, today I'm reacting to two McDonald's horror stories animated by Mort. I think this is decently long. One second, let's make sure Facebook is closed. Just waiting for it to open up. There we go. So this is about 12 and a half minutes, so two stories, 12 and a half minutes. Yeah, I noticed Mort has like a lot more like longer videos now. I noticed because like before they were like shorter, so. Alright, so two McDonald's horror stories. So I work in fast food as well, so I mean I don't know what kind of horror stories these are, but I mean I guess we'll see, right? Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Be sure to like this video if you haven't done so yet, which you probably haven't, so do it. And be sure to turn on post notifications as well, so you never miss any videos that I do upload. I upload 2 to 3 videos a day at noon daily, so that'll probably change in September, but for the next few months, that's what it'll be like. Let's go, guys.
I'm not sure if this is the creepiest or the most disgusting thing to ever happen to me, but here it is. I'm a 17-year-old female, and this happened about 3 months ago.
Okay.
Me and my friends always liked to go to McDonald's after we had a good yoga session. You could call us regulars. We probably did yoga together 2 or 3 times a week, and it wasn't a class or anything. It was just me and 3 of my friends. We had another friend, Olivia, who occasionally joined us, but she was kind of flaky. If she didn't feel like doing yoga that day, we just went ahead and did it without her. We had been in this routine for a couple of weeks at this point, and we always looked forward to getting some nice junk food. There was something about McDonald's that was like the guilty pleasure of my entire existence. I normally didn't get it otherwise, but I really look forward to the couple of occasions that me and my friends went there.
I rarely have
But this one
McDonald's
experience was horrible. I had been there enough that I started to recognize the people that worked there. I never had conversations with them, but I knew their faces well enough to spot when someone new was in the back working. That's exactly what happened this one Wednesday afternoon. I noticed this guy with really thin hair. He had a really creepy face, and I'm not sure how to describe it exactly. His eyes were humongous. They looked like the eyes of a bug. And then he had this really strange body language that always kind of freaked me out. It was like jumpy or something. If he was deep frying French fries, for example, he would stand perfectly still for a second, and then really quickly submerge them in one motion, and it would splash grease all over.
That's kind of weird.
This was very unusual, considering I had seen enough people put down fries that there was an easier way he could have done that. He didn't have to splash it like that. I was watching him one day, and we made eye contact. It was really unusual, too, because I was looking at him as my mom's credit card was processing to pay for my meal. He had his back turned toward me. I was trying to figure out if I knew who he was, and then he just spun around to look at me, and it was all in one motion. It was just really freaky. So I started noticing him more and more. He was always working whenever my friends and I got finished with our yoga. It didn't bother me too much. My friends also noticed how weird he was and told me about similar experiences. It wasn't creepy enough that we stopped going or anything, but it was certainly enough to notice. I remember the day in particular. It was a weekend because I didn't have school that day. Me and my friends had just finished a really good yoga session, and we headed over to McDonald's. Anyway, my friends and I ordered our food, and we're waiting for a few minutes.
Yeah,
it took a little bit
keeps
longer
stalking
than
him.
usual,
She's like,
which isn't really an issue because we're not patients or anything. But here was the weird part.
Hey, don't worry about him.
They weren't busy. We were basically the only people in there waiting for food, and I think they had one other person who had already ordered who was sitting down and already eating.
Okay.
I didn't see any cars in the drive-thru, and I just found the whole situation extremely bizarre. I'd noticed that the creepy guy was working, but I didn't see him for a very long time. He went behind a wall that I couldn't see him around, and I wasn't sure why he did this either. Life went on, and we got our food and sat down. I normally start by eating my fries, and then have whatever my main meal is after that.
Okay.
Today it happens to be chicken nuggets. I got a 10-piece. As I was eating, I felt that creepy guy's watchful eyes looming over us. I felt really freaked out, and I convinced my friends to take our meal into the car to leave. As we left, I looked back to see him frowning at me. I didn't stop walking. Well, we got out there, and for a few minutes I felt like I was being paranoid and I overreacted. My friends thought so too, until I looked at my chicken nuggets. I looked inside of the box they were in, and they seemed to be covered in some kind of weird substance. I couldn't quite make it out, and
Yo.
I didn't know what to think. My
I don't
immediate
know if you're thinking
reaction
what I'm
was
thinking.
that they had put mayonnaise on it or something.
Yeah, it's not mayonnaise.
Thankfully, I was smart enough to ask my friends before I took a bite. My one friend screamed, "That freak jizzed on your nuggets."
I knew it, that's what I was thinking.
The more I analyzed this strange substance on my chicken nuggets,
I knew it, I just
the
didn't
more
want to say it.
convinced I became that
That's why I
it
was...
really was, in fact, that.
I was kind of thinking, wait...
That certainly explains why it had taken so long for us to get our food.
Oh, God.
I didn't quite understand how he was able to pull it off, though. He was one of at least 5 other workers there. It's not like they would have just allowed him to do this, right?
Unless he went to the washroom or something.
Whatever the case may have been, I didn't feel comfortable eating those chicken nuggets.
Don't throw it out.
I threw them out without hesitation.
Like, hello, proof,
My
evidence
friends and
to
I were
go
all
back
really
and say this
freaked
freaking
out
bitch
that this had happened to us.
jizzed in my food.
My friends threw out the rest of their food just to be on the safe side. We weren't really
report that or
sure.
something.
We should have reported this incident
No
to the
shit.
police or something.
No friggin'
We
shit.
really didn't know what to do. We just kind of laughed it off as being one of those crazy life experiences, and that was it. I haven't gone back to McDonald's since this whole experience.
You guys
But
fucked
yeah,
up.
that's the story of how I ordered chicken nuggets one time, and the
God
freaky
just
guy
said-
working there put his secret sauce on them.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would totally got
I
fired
don't
for
think
that.
you guys are
right
even
away.
going to believe this story, but it's 100% true.
I don't know what that
Just happened last week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else I could even preface this dumpster fire of a story, but here it goes.
Okay.
I'm a 22-year-old male and I live with my fiancée. We had a nice apartment, but we were really looking to buy a house. I know, a little young for that, but we both landed really nice jobs after college and
Yeah.
figured that it's better to get it out of the way now and start settling down. We're kind of old-fashioned like that. My fiancé's grandmother owns a home and no one lives in it. She had it for about a year since a family relative passed away.
Mm.
No one wanted anything to do with it since there was a lot of work that needed to be done, like painting the walls and redoing the floors and just various tasks like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't completely horrible inside, but there was enough work that it literally sat there for a good little while.
Mm.
Well, my fiancé and I started talking to her grandmother after buying the place. She told us that she would sell it to us for a low enough price that we would be able to afford all of the renovations and whatnot.
That's
We were really
surprising.
excited about it. It was really exciting to think we were going to have purchased our first home together so shortly after graduating from college.
That's really good.
But here was the problem. She had a lot of people in her family who started feeling left out. It was my fiancé's aunt and her 2 sons. Their father had died shortly after the second son was born, and the mother had a hard time coping with everything. She was a regular drinker and arguably an alcoholic. My fiancé told me that they were extremely negative people, and after meeting them a few times at family functions, I was surprised at how right she was. They lived in government housing. She collected disability fraudulently, and her 2 sons didn't work, despite one being 24 and the other being 19. There were whispers of drug abuse in there too. Suffice to know that these were not the kind of people you wanted to associate with. When word got out that we were buying the house from her grandma, they started feeling really left out. There were a few occasions where they'd try offering to watch the house, very obviously an attempt to get in there and do God only knows what. We politely declined and did everything we could to avoid them. I happened to be at the house one day. My fiancé was working and I work remotely online, so I was home alone.
Isn't this a
I just
McDonald's
walked down
story?
the street to buy a lemonade when I saw someone at her house. It was extremely unexpected. I got ready to confront a potential burglar when I noticed it was my fiancé's cousin trying to break in. He was startled when he saw me and froze for a minute. I asked him what he was doing, and he told me something about thinking he saw a car he didn't recognize in the driveway. I explained that it was my car, and he left without any big confrontation.
And,
As he
and
walked
he's
away,
thick
though, I
too,
heard
wow.
him start cursing under his breath.
Yeah, but isn't it
This
his
was
grandma's?
the point when I started feeling
Like
we
his
had
grandma's
something to worry about.
house, not his fiance's grandma's
Feeling
house?
safe inside your own home is the worst feeling ever, especially being 2 young recent college graduates. We both worked really hard to make this happen, and the idea that it made us feel unsafe there really bothered us. I still didn't even understand what they wanted out of the whole ordeal. They didn't have enough money to afford the property tax alone.
Oh.
Forget about utilities and anything else.
Yeah, so what are they having?
About
So,
2
like,
weeks went by without any kind of confrontation.
so where's the McDonald's part?
I had falsely convinced myself that they'd finally leave us alone.
Okay.
I was dead wrong. We went to McDonald's one day,
Oh, okay, there.
exactly
here it
1
is.
week ago today.
Here it
Today
is.
I'm writing this. Me and my fiance both just wanted to be out of the house for a little while. Considering we were in the process of buying a house, we didn't want to go eat anywhere expensive, so McDonald's just seemed like a logical decision.
That's fair.
Now, before I continue, I feel the need to explain something about my fiance and I.
Okay.
We are normally very serious people. We work very hard and we're both kind of workaholics, but when we get together to have some fun, we go hard. Work hard, play hard, right? Well, we got kind of silly when we played. Let me cut to the chase. We were both playing in the ball pit at our local McDonald's.
Oh.
We
Okay.
always enjoyed goofing off like that, and we weren't too concerned with what people would think of us.
Isn't it only kids allowed
We'd
in
only
there?
been messing around for 5 minutes when her cousin showed up at McDonald's too. It was creepy.
Oh god.
He walked right in, looked at us the entire time.
They look so sus. Like,
Before he even opened the
like
front
so
door,
furious
his
about it.
eyes were stuck on us, and they felt heavy. My fiancée immediately knew something was wrong when my facial expression changed and she darted around to see what I was looking at. We both watched as her
He's
cousin
pissed.
made his way out to the ball pit. He stepped outside. As he walked, he moved his body to grab something out of his pocket.
Is he gonna kill you
I couldn't
guys?
see what it was, but my first thought was a gun or a knife. The look in his eyes told me he was out to do serious harm. He jumped into the ball pit in my direction.
Is he gonna
I
strangle the ball
luckily
pit?
landed one solid
Oh,
punch
shit.
in his face as he came down.
He just punched you in the
Move on.
face. Get the
I
fuck out
had
of
an
here.
advantage.
Oh, now he's
He
pissed
kicked
though.
me in the stomach, but I landed a few more punches on his face. He started screaming for me to stop and that I was killing him. I would have kept going if my fiancée hadn't been watching. He started this, not me. We got out of the ball pit. He then began telling us that he was going to press charges on me for assaulting him. I wasn't even fazed by this. There were plenty of witnesses there that had seen the whole thing
Yeah, but
transpire.
he didn't necessarily do anything
I
first
started
though.
telling him that I was calling the cops and I was going to press charges on him. He got really panicked and ran back to his car and drove off.
No, now he's
I'm
scared.
not going to lie to you. This whole thing really shook me up. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. I looked around online and found an easy solution. A restraining order. My fiancée and I had both gotten restraining orders on her aunt and her 2 cousins.
And her aunt and two
I didn't know
cousins.
why we didn't think of this sooner. They really solved the issue, and once they understood that we had a restraining order against them, they buggered right off.
Not
I
necessarily.
haven't seen or heard from them since.
Okay.
And thankfully, and hopefully, that's the end of my story.
Alright, so that was more so of like I don't think that was more so of a McDonald's story. Like it did happen at McDonald's, but okay, so the aunt and 2 cousins, that's her aunt and 2 cousins. So the grandma, I'm gonna go back in this video and just see whose house it was exactly because I forgot whose house it was. I don't know if it was just me that thought it was her, or so you can't see, but I'm pointing at the girl. I don't know if it was her grandma or his grandma, because if it's his grandma, then why are her relatives nervous or like mad or angry about it? So I just
I'm a 22-year-old male and I live with my fiancée. We had a nice apartment, but we were really looking to buy a house. I know, a little young for that, but we both landed really nice jobs after college and
listen up here.
figured that it's better to get it out of the than anything to do with it since there was a
Wait.
passion like that. My fiancé's grandmother owns a home and
My fiance's grandmother. Okay, so I would admit that makes more sense then because like it is their kind of like family's house in a way, so it's kind of like that does make sense. But if they can't afford it, then it's like why are you even being salty about it? Like I know you can't afford it, so like why are you being all salty? Like I could give it to you, but like if you can't afford it, like what's the point of even trying, you know, or even offering to you, you know, like plus like who, like did you even say that you wanted to have the house? No, not from what I know or saw, right? So I don't know what the hell that whole thing was about, but I mean whatever, I guess. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. That was a decent video though, long, but it was okay. And I noticed if that is more, I'm pretty sure that was more. his animations are getting better, because I know his animations were like more like not bad, but like scratchy in a way, if that makes sense, like lines more, but like these animations are getting like better and better. So shout out to Mort for doing better, and obviously trying to do better, which his animations are really good now the way they are. I don't even know if he has to improve much more. So yeah, he's doing really good. So good job on you. If you're watching this, you're probably not, but yeah, good job on you, Mort. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. Be sure to like this video if you haven't done so yet. You've had 15.5 minutes, so you might as well do it now if you haven't done it yet. Be sure to subscribe, and be sure to turn on post notifications as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.